They're targeting criminals. They're not going after regular people.
You do not have to answer questions to us. Usted tiene derechos constitucionales. No conteste ninguna pregunta. No conteste ninguna pregunta. No tiene nada.
The last election, who did you vote for?
I feel embarrassed to tell you, but before all the years back, since I got my citizenship, I said I was a Democrat, but then, in these last elections, I voted as a Republican. Why? Because I'm against abortion.
Feel tough with your assault rifles and your sticks? You should be standing here with us. You're on the wrong side of history. We know you got a job to do, but you took an oath to the Constitution, not to the fascists in the White House. Think about what you're doing now. Think about what this means. Coming into our community. Peaceful fucking community. People working their jobs. They send in men in military fatigues. Weapons of war into our communities. And you stand here and you allow it. I am sick and tired of it. You should be sick and tired of it. You think any of these people in the White House sending you these commands give a about you?
No conteste ninguna pregunta. No firme nada.
MAGA Latino for Trump. Assemble here. You guys remember being warned against voting for this administration and you being told about the consequences of your actions and you never listened. Now these are the consequences over there. Like that over there is not nice. But again, you guys decided to vote in. You remember you guys making the song I Will Vote for Donald Trump, and you danced and you rejoiced and you spearheaded the campaign for Donald Trump administration in, and now he's using your innocence, like promising you guys jobs, papers and privilege of being migrants in the United States of America. Now he's treating you like rubbish. Now you're left confused, scared for your lives. Anyways guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Danny. If you're new to this channel, thank you so much for logging in. For returning subscribers, thank you so much for your immense support recently. You guys have been subscribing, liking, leaving your thoughts in the comment section down there below, and it's what has been spearheading the channels forward. Thank you so much. I don't take it for granted. Guys, in today's video I'm talking about the last 7 days has been crazy in California state, Los Angeles in particular, where ICE has been conducting a huge mega raid where it has been arresting undocumented migrants, and it's really saddening that most of them has been parents, and parents who are really supporting like young kids, and these young kids have been left with nobody. And it's even dangerous because these kids are not even in a position to make money to sustain themselves. They won't even raise something like rent. My heart really goes to them. Before we even dissect this topic further, I want you to listen to netizens and their opinions on this subject matter, and then I'll come back with my unsolicited commentary.
Reporting has shown that 90% of the migrants shipped off to CCOT, the El Salvadorian torture prison, have zero criminal record. We don't mind immigration, you just have to do it the right way. ICE has been arresting people while they've appeared to their court hearings. They're collaborating with judges to have cases dismissed to then force that person into a legal limbo, and then ICE agents will be waiting right outside the door to apprehend them before they could even file for an appeal or another form of documentation. The Trump administration wants to revoke student visas. They don't care that they did it the right way. Immigrants keep our wages low. Well, that's bullshit. Politicians do that. We haven't had a federal wage increase in the longest period of time in American history. That's why it's still at $7.25 an hour. Stop letting the rich blame the poor for you being poor. You want better wages? Join a union. Unionize your workplace. These people come here and get all this free stuff because they're just a bunch of freeloaders. That is propaganda. Also, if they're a bunch of freeloaders, why is ICE raiding work sites? Immigrants also pay billions of dollars in taxes every single year without reaping the benefits of Social Security or Medicare. That's why the Trump administration wants to work with the IRS in order to get information on immigrants. Why would the IRS have tax information on these immigrants if they're such freeloaders? It's not going to affect me. I'm here legally. ICE has wrongfully arrested, detained, and even deported citizens. Before, ICE had a quota of 3,000 arrests a day. From the years 2017 to 2020, ICE arrested over 600 American citizens, detained over 120 American citizens, and deported 70 American citizens. Now that ICE has these crazy quota numbers, the number will be much higher. And we've seen that with case after case of American citizens coming out saying that they were detained. Only American citizens can receive due process because only American citizens are entitled to the rights in the Constitution. The Constitution covers every single person within our borders. And without due process for everyone, we have due process for no one. I just told you about ICE detaining, arresting, and deporting American citizens. Without due process, how do we prove that they're American citizens? Those mistakes that I quoted that were documented by the Government Accountability Office happened while ICE was respecting due process. Now, with the Trump administration throwing out due process, or at least attempting to, how do we protect all American citizens without due process?
You know how much of a big fucking loser you have to be like, let's go to Home Depot and go after people who actually work. Like, no, like, why don't we deport the people who are like actually screwing the system over? But no, let's go after, hard-working immigrants who want nothing to do except help America.
Now, I've spoken many times about the hypocrisy of Trump supporters. Specifically how they don't give a shit about what happens to other people until it happens to them personally. Today's example is going to be privacy. Because as I've often mentioned in the past, when Roe v. Wade was overturned, it actually had a lot to do with your right to personal privacy. Because the MAGA were all like, yay, we saved the babies! Now let's take away school lunches and repeal child labor laws. Because they didn't care that it infringed upon women's First Amendment, Fourth Amendment, 14th Amendment. They just want to make sure you give birth so they can teach that child creationism and take away its food stamps. The MAGA didn't care that women could have their medical records unlawfully searched. They didn't care that they could be prosecuted for making a medical decision that's only their business. They didn't care that the same thing was happening to trans people as they were losing their health care. And the MAGA sure as hell didn't care when the same thing was happening to immigrants, including immigrants that were here perfectly legally. They didn't care that they were having their homes searched and they were being detained and questioned as to whether or not they should be deported just because they had brown skin. It was completely lost on them that it was just like Muslim profiling after September 11th. How old are you? Where do you live? I'm 25 and I've lived in Pennsylvania my whole life. It says here your last name is Garcia. You must be a gang member. Off to El Salvador. So let's see, now along with the 1st, 4th, and 14th Amendment, we can also add the 8th. See, in order to be a conservative, especially a MAGA conservative, you have to completely ignore what happens to anyone else. You're not allowed to have empathy. So the MAGA don't really care how much the Republicans burn the country to the ground, as long as they personally are able to maintain their privilege and their illusion of freedom. There was a very small crack in their armor back during his first administration when Trump openly said at a cabinet meeting that he advocated for taking people's guns away without due process. Despite Republicans claiming for decades that every Democratic president was coming for your guns, he was the only one to ever say that. But they quickly made excuses for it and forgot about it, and now many of them pretend he never said it. But then the second Peter Thiel, Palantir, Elonia Muskrat, and the Heritage Foundation want to put together a database of every single American citizen's private and personal information, the MAGA are suddenly like, my privacy, my freedom. And all we can do is sit there and facepalm because they spent so much time licking doorknobs and making up dumb conspiracy theories about magnetic COVID vaccines, bamboo ballots, and Hugo Chavez coming back from the dead to rig election machines that they weren't fucking paying attention.
Talk about double standards. It seems like Republicans are going silent, especially for the things they believed in before this administration and when the heads of this administration do the exact same thing that the previous administration was doing. They turn a blind eye or deaf ears to this matter, and it seems like what does not affect them, they don't give any empathy to those people who are suffering and they do not deserve to suffer. Like for instance, people who are being deported and yet they are legally in the US, and petty things like students' visas being revoked. I mean, how is that even possible? Because this person got into USA as a student. It was approved by the immigration themselves. Why would you revoke the same visa that you find this person to be qualified to enter into the country? You are completely disorientating this person because he or she now has to plan for exit. If they are not prepared, it's even going to be worse because it would be like they have overstayed their visa. That's an excuse to take them to El Salvador. It doesn't make sense.
Latinos for Trump is probably one of the most embarrassing things that you could be. And I know if they find this video, they're going to be in the comment section. Capital letters Trump, American flag emoji, eagle emoji, like it never fails. But they don't like you. They don't like you. You think they do. And I know that something happened in your childhood, right? That, made this entire self-hatred journey begin, right? Maybe you were embarrassed your parents were speaking Spanish. A little kid on the playground said something to you and it completely changed something within yourself. And okay, but how embarrassing. They're never going to welcome you. No matter how many times you say that you love that person that's sitting in that office, they still think of you in a certain way. And although I find this entire thing disgusting, right, and completely inhumane, there's a part of me, a small part, that hopes a Latino for Trump is taken, detained, put in a jail cell, mistreated. And I know that sounds awful, but it's the fuck around and find out.
California State Representative Elena Garcia, who is also the founder of something called Latinos for Trump, a little upset about the goings-on in Los Angeles the last couple of days, the ICE raids, the mass deportations. She's upset about it. But you support Trump, Elena. She says this isn't what we voted for. And all I have to say to you, Elena, is yes, you did, bitch. You voted for it. RNC was very clear about mass deportations. The only thing you're mad about is that you thought it would be everybody else, but not people you like or people that support Donald Trump. You felt like the mass deportations would only be liberals and Democrats, and it wouldn't affect Trump's people. Fact is, you're stupid. You should have known better. You should not be surprised at what's going on here. Donald Trump doesn't give a fuck about you. He wanted your vote. He got your vote. Now he doesn't care about you. Now Elena Garcia is upset because it's affecting her people. Well, I got to tell you, there is no sympathy for you. Even if your family members get deported, too fucking bad. And the reason I have no sympathy for you is because while you may be a victim right now, you are responsible for innocent people who did not vote for Donald Trump to be deported. You fucking did that. And you deserve to pay the price. So hopefully in your next election, our California folks will say, this dumb fuck needs to go.
And everybody can understand wanting to control the border. Everybody can understand
I think it's a legitimate...
wanting to enforce immigration laws. And everybody can understand not wanting to have criminals and bad people in this country.
Including you.
Yes, yes, yes. But what is happening right now is inhumane. And people need to lose their fear because I've always said this, cowardice is contagious, but so is courage. And we have to catch courage right now because the people who have no voice, the people who have no status, they need us who do to speak up. And I'm going to say this, I am incredibly disappointed with so many of my Latino celebrity friends who are not speaking up. And I understand it. I understand it because there is real fear in our community and it is justified. But there's just no option. Fear is not an option right now when our community is under attack. Shame on those of us who can and don't speak up and use our platforms.
You know what's funny? Even after all these regrets that they are expressing, these MAGA Latinos would still vote in for an administration that would not even take care of their rights. They would still go for that person that does not want any good for them. They would not even listen. Like, for instance, when we were starting the video, you see that woman says that she is even ashamed that she is voted in the Trump administration twice. That's the same person that can easily go for the third and fourth time for a person who does not care about their own interest. It's so funny how the other lady is trying to say that they should use their platforms in order to speak out. They just say so in interviews, but deep down, they don't care as long as it does not affect them. But anyways, it seems like they have to get their houses in order. And I was just wondering to myself now, between MAGA Latino for Trump and those people who would not vote for Trump, like let's say the Democrats, who is really suffering from this mass deportations, like in real sense? Isn't it not the person who cast the vote for the person who thought they had their interest? They created some sort of illusion that this person had their interest. I think it's Latino for Trump who are suffering the most. I really hope that the next elections, they are gonna choose their leader wisely. They are gonna choose their next move wisely so that they can protect their own interest. You choose bad, expect bad results. You choose good, expect wonderful results. That's how life works, and I really hope that people have learned. Guys, that's just about it. I just found this debate really interesting and I just wanted to put it out there. Share your thoughts in the comment section down there below. Don't forget to check the original creators. Their usernames have been embedded in the stitched videos. Make sure you go on to TikTok, follow them, like their videos. For this channel, make sure you smash a fat thumbs up button for this video. Consider subscribing, turn on post notification for my next upload. And with that, guys, let me meet you in the next video. Peace.